a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor. I'm going to go ahead and just jump to our chief meteorologist, Matt Lopon, out in the field right now. He is currently bear watching. Matt, can you describe what you're doing right now?
No, not bear watching, whale watching. We're out
whale,
here.
sorry.
Whoa, right there. If you'll notice that there's a building right there and that little splash, and I wish I could get it in a little bit closer here, but we are just east of Vancouver Island here. Just honestly in the strait that separates the United States from Canada out here kind of east of Vancouver and kind of northeast of Seattle. And we're whale watching, which is obviously a world different from the heat advisories, excessive heat warnings that you have there. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to see. There's this kind of building there. There's some trees directly below the trees. We've seen the fin kind of come up a few times here in just the last few minutes as we're watching. This is killer whales, orcas, specific breed of them. And so we're trying to keep our distance just to make sure that we don't disrupt them any more than they, naturally would be in this scenario. But planning on recording a video we'd show you a little later on, but the fact is happening right now. In fact, you're at the show right now. Figured we'd give you kind of a quick look at that here, as it's certainly a interesting scenario, something I've never seen experienced before. So kind of a cool thing there. So I'll flip back around as we are nice and obviously bundled up from the rain, and I just got in trouble because I got in somebody's way on that. So anyway, hoping to see them breach and do what they're going to do as they kind of come out in a couple minutes as well. But reporting from Mr. Vancouver there, you can see the fin for just a moment. They're right there.
Matt, I'm going to keep it here for a second. I think we might be losing you right now. Oh, it's back. We're going to take you back.
Okay, now you need to stick with me here. Anyway, we're just kind of trying to check this. It does look like the video's getting kind of blurry on your end. We'll go ahead and send it back to y'all. But from up here near the Canada, U.S. border there, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. We'll see if we get you some zoomed in video a little later on.
Well, definitely excited for that, Matt, and thank you for giving us a live look. I apologize. I don't know how I heard bears, but I guess killer whales might be the bears of the ocean. That's what we're going to learn today, right? But yeah, so great shots there of what they're experiencing. And Matt, being bundled up, you just make all of us jealous, because right down here, we're dealing with heat advisories, heat warnings, and just miserable weather when it comes to those temperatures. So when will that misery end? That's the golden question, and that's what we're going to be tracking here in just a few moments. Also looking at the latest outlook for rain chances. And then when we take a look at what's the matter, well, we saw what the matter was, and we're going to be discussing even more on what Matt's adventures have been up in Canada, giving us a live look in, and hopefully we get a live look in here soon of some of those whales. So Matt, we're going to be counting on you on that. I would definitely want to see some here coming up tonight at 10. But whenever we look at our live cameras, I mean, just Greenville showing that sunshine, the rays shining through, heating up the atmosphere, 95 right now, which feels like values around 106. So yes, while it's clear skies, it's still going to feel pretty muggy. So make sure to have that water handy. Don't be bundled up like Matt. That's going to be the exact opposite of what we need to do this afternoon. Smithville, 95 feels like 104, so no one is against the rule this afternoon when it comes to these temperatures. With those feels like values, we're talking about 103 New Albany, 101 Tupelo, 104 Houston, 106 still in Tunica, and 105 in Senatobia. This northwest portion still under that heat advisory threshold, and guys, it's 604. The sun's on its way down, and we're still experiencing that muggy, miserable heat across the region. So staying hydrated, going to push it over and over again, how essential that is. And looking at our Mississippi live weather radar, no sense of relief. And we have not had relief all afternoon. Just looping at the past 6 hours, you can see where all those rain showers have been, primarily out there towards the northern Alabama area. A few of those on the stronger side. So we're fortunate that we didn't get that, but definitely we'll take a shower or two, right? But let's go ahead and jump to right now. And what we're tracking across the region is just not only, let me get right here. So not only the drier air, but it's also going to be the clear skies. Let's just zoom this out here real quick, and you can see where that prominent cloud cover is out there towards Alabama, North Mississippi, completely dry. And reason why is because we have that heat dome. I mean, we are surrounded. There's your dome right there, all the way north into Kansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, and all the way west into Lubbock, Texas. So the air is going to be hot, it's going to be muggy, no matter where you are in this threshold of the heat dome. So that's why this is just so important to our forecast. But fortunately, this dominant high pressure system that has kept this hot air here is going to be transitioning more out towards the east. So that's what we're tracking, not over the next 12, but over the next 72. Probably going to take about 3 days for it to cycle fully on out before we get some better, more seasonable temperatures. So the next 12 showing you those dry conditions still in place, low 90s by 7, upper 70s for the start of our Wednesday. We're on Wednesday now. And that's just really above average. I mean, that's the way to put it because of how hot it's been. So zooming this back out again, I want to show you the chances that we'll have for any rainfall. And what we're watching is this low out in Florida going to be, well, should I say, transitioning into Jacksonville before moving back into the Gulf. A similar pattern to a storm we had last week. It's not going to be anything tropical, not expecting any tropical developments from it, but it will cycle that high pressure out and move that low pressure in, circulating a little bit of that Gulf moisture into North Mississippi, making it feel slightly better and giving us some increased rain chances. Now that frontal boundary extending into North Mississippi could bring us some rain chances for our Wednesday afternoon. That's what we're, should I say, hoping for, but not going to be a high likelihood for a lot of North Mississippi. So go ahead and pack that rain gear, but don't have an expectation of using it. Your rain chances will primarily come mid to late afternoon. That cloud cover going to be picking up just a bit with that Gulf moisture, but it's not going to be your best bet for any rain-cooled air or any relief for that matter. What we're tracking for relief will come towards the weekend, and we'll look at those rain chances here shortly and also walk through the atmospheric setup. You know, what needs to take place for that cooler air to move in. We'll be tracking all of that coming up in the next 60, and of course, we'll find out what's the matter.
I was made for this, crawling through the muck to find where the real problems hide.
All this dampness, it's perfect for mold, and that can mean headaches, rashes, even chronic illness for your family.
That's why we offer our Healthy Home 7-point mold inspection to restore your health by restoring your home.
Focusing on water and mold control from the crawl space to the roof, you can call Absolute Restoration, your local and trusted restoration contractor.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
The good thing with our forecast is we've not set any records. Looking at those record high temperatures across the Tupelo area in North Mississippi, 106 is that record high and 56 is that low. We're far from 56. We're actually closer to 106, but definitely not setting any averages. 1943 still holds true, and we'll hold the record for the foreseeable future and hopefully forever, because 106, that's awful. And compared to what we had today, being that that's 6 degrees higher for some places, yeah, not taking that. But temperatures right now still mid to upper 90s, 95 Tupelo, Amory, 93 towards Red Bay. Hey, Iuka coming in with 90 degrees. You're on the way to 80 here soon. And then the rest of the area, we're talking south and west, 96 towards Kosciuszko, 96 Grenada, Greenwood, Water Valley. It's just a toasty, muggy forecast going forward, and it's actually been even higher than what we had yesterday. I talked to you guys yesterday evening, and I said if today wasn't hot enough for you, well, buckle up because tomorrow it's going to be even warmer. And so far, seeing a 2, 3, even 4 degree temperature swing from what we saw this time yesterday. A lot of that's just due to the atmospheric setup. We're under that heat dome, and it's just going to continue to make those temperatures climb and climb and climb. So it feels like values coming in with the 105 plus range. That's what we're going to call it at this point, because this screen is just not a pretty sight at all to see. But the heat advisory, we've discussed it the past couple of times about heat advisories requiring it to be 105 plus for 2 or more hours. And then extreme heat warnings need to be 110 for any given period of time. So that's why those heat warnings are in place, because we're getting up to 110, but there's no set time requirement for that to happen. And so here's your outlook for our Wednesday. Extreme heat warnings in place across North Mississippi, except for Attala County. I don't know why you guys got lucky, but you're going to be feeling the same air all of North Mississippi will feel. That in effect until 8 p.m. tomorrow evening, so it's a time to stay hydrated, stay cool. And some people were submitting pictures of vehicles that were showing 106, 110. One person even showed like 130 in regards to feels like values. Now, those values, it's not actually what you're feeling outside. Some of those cars that just absorb heat a bit more will show higher temperatures. And also some of our sensors outside, if it's right above pavement or anything like that, then it's going to make those sensors be a little bit higher. So 130, probably more like 105 to 110, just because on normal ground, it's going to be around that range. But whenever you factor that in, I mean, definitely asphalt and things that are darker colored, like my suit, I could feel the heat in that. So wearing darker colors hurts as well. Definitely a time to wear white or any light colors, because it's just going to not absorb the heat as much. So there's some tips heading into your week, and hopefully that helps you stay maybe a degree or two cooler, right? So day planner overnight shows those temperatures starting to drop. Once that sun does set, we'll be back into the upper 80s, and those cooling off overnight, but cooling off is a bit of a stretch because still 81 around 1 a.m. is insane when it comes to how hot those temperatures are. Futurecast does show, and this is, again, a bit of an extreme futurecast right here, showing those showers and storms popping up. We saw where those storms were positioned, way out there towards Alabama, not anywhere close to North Mississippi. The area where I could say could see a few showers is out here towards Franklin, Marion, maybe as far west as Lamar and Pickens County. But those threats are going to remain with that low pressure center that are further out towards the east, still in the Atlantic coast, not here in North Mississippi. So that's where I expect them to be. Don't let this model fool you. Walking through that forecast, I mean, it shows you the dry air that's going to be in place. But again, a lot of those shower chances going to remain in Alabama before maybe transitioning to us tomorrow. Maybe is the key word there, because Wednesday is just going to see that dominant high pressure system just stick in North Mississippi. Emphasis on stick, because that's how it'll feel outside. So 6 a.m., I mean, some of that cloud cover building in from that moisture, but still going to be those patchy clouds up in the sky. Those cumulus towering clouds probably going to be what we'll see. Low temperatures mid to upper 70s, and we saw on the averages at the top of the show that talked about 73 being the normal start to the day. So the fact we're in 77 in some parts shows that abnormal pattern that we've been in. That frontal boundary that's stretching off of the low, and this was something we discussed just a moment ago, that could provide some isolated showers for our Wednesday afternoon. That's really the only hope we have for any rainfall over the next 24 to 48 hours is from that frontal system, from that low pressure system out in the Gulf at this point. It will be moving into the Gulf closer to Wednesday morning. So Wednesday early to mid-afternoon, a few of those isolated showers do pop up. Now, what we're seeing trend-wise, a lot of these are expected to be more towards Alabama, but isolated showers are possible for North Mississippi, still very sporadic in nature behind that frontal boundary. So go ahead and have the rain gear if you are in North Mississippi to be on the safe side, but don't go into the day expecting showers to occur. Just go ahead and have it in the backseat just in case if you have to get out and walk into work or walk into whatever you have planned for your Wednesday. Just keeps you on the safe side for that forecast. So through the rest of the day, I mean, those isolated showers continue to pop up, but the high temperatures, that's going to be the story with several of us showing mid to upper 90s. Greenville coming in with 102. That's definitely what all of our eyes are drawn to. And we'll be saying a prayer that it is not that high, because that is brutal heat that we do not want here in North Mississippi. We'll take, if we have to get 90, we'll take 90 at this point. Heat indices going to be 110 for a lot of locations. You're seeing those 110s sprinkle more into Calhoun and Chickasaw County. Really expecting that for a large portion of North Mississippi. You see further towards the south, they're going to be about 105 plus. So that's why those heat advisories are in place for Attala County, expecting some diminished heat indices compared to the rest of North Mississippi, but still Attala County, let's stay hydrated and stay cool, right? You guys get the message. So into the rest of our futurecast, you see some of that rainfall trying to push in as we wrap up the night, or should I say wrap up the evening, and then heading overnight, it's going to be that dry and calm pattern yet again. Thursday, trying to cycle in a little bit more of that moisture. And like I said at 5, this is definitely an area that I'm watching for the potential for some rainfall to return because of the interaction of that high and low pressure system. I mean, just circulating in a little bit more of that Gulf moisture won't take much of a lifting mechanism. So more than likely seeing those showers occur mid to late afternoon Thursday. And I would not be surprised to see those chances bumped up maybe 10 to 20% as we head over the next 24 hours if this trend were to continue. And we'll talk more about that atmospheric setup coming up here right after the break. But yeah, I'll just kind of walk you through what we're looking at and what we're seeing. So it gives a detailed look and detailed analysis on that. So high temperatures for your Thursday showing still triple digits in some spots. It'll be trying. But with some of that rain-cooled air, hopefully we get lower 90s for a lot of locations. Where it's drier, mid to upper 90s still expected. So we're not escaping that heat just yet, just maybe getting some of that brief relief with a few of those showers. Heat indices, like we said, 110 plus for a lot of locations. So even though the advisories and warnings go till 8 p.m. on our Wednesday, expect them to continue. Maybe those warnings not encompassing as much because this is where it sits right now, probably pushing back more towards the delta, but still the rest of us going to be under those excessive heat advisories, which is still advising you to stay hydrated. And one of the ways that we can beat the heat, or should I say many of the ways we can beat the heat, is stay indoors in the air conditioning whenever possible. If your home doesn't have air conditioning, there are cooling centers close by. I know there's several here in Tupelo, but just surrounding North Mississippi. Remain hydrated by drinking water. And I say that, I was thinking about this because I have a bottle of water on standby at all points of the day. And I talked to Caleb behind the scenes just about, hey, I drank like 3 bottles today. So like, it was a good thing. So staying hydrated, there's no such thing as drinking too much water. The big thing is number 3 though, checking on the most vulnerable to heat, including children, backseat, always check them, and the elderly, just making sure that they're not exposed to this heat all day long because it can do damage for sure. And if you must go outdoors, go early or late in the day. Really early in the day is when you're going to see those coolest temperatures. So just go ahead and take all the precautions you can to be as safe as you can in this brutal heat. Those temperatures dialing back just a bit, 95 for Thursday, 92 by Friday, and we're going to be low 90s towards this weekend. That's not accounting for the rain-cooled air. With that rain-cooled air, it's still very scattered in nature, so those 93s could feel upper 80s in some spots if we're able to get a little bit more of that rainfall to occur. So that's our heightened rain chances, but I would not be surprised to see some of these percentages as we wrap up the week to be heightened with that low pressure interaction that's going to take place. And we'll talk more about that again here in just a couple of minutes. Speaking of in just a couple of minutes, we'll be walking through some of your weather watcher pictures, and what we were watching today was the heat. And we're going to get a full look at that, of what to expect going forward, and hopefully some of that relief moving into the forecast here shortly. So stay with us here in 60 seconds. You'll see what's the matter with Matt. No, what's the matter with Matt? Well, what's the matter? What's going on with Matt? And of course, what's the matter going on here in Mississippi? Stay with us after the break.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon coming to you from the Oak Bay Marina here on kind of the east side of Victoria. We're on the south tip of Vancouver Island here in the Oak Bay area. That's why we have the Oak Bay Marina behind me. I have a Nanamu bar, which is kind of this sort of ice cream, sort of, as you can see, awesome chocolatey sort of bar. That they're known for here. Pretty cool. We've seen the University of Victoria and some of the extremely old and kind of ritzy parts of town on our tour today, as we've gone kind of a bus tour around the area. Behind me, you can see the marina that's here on, again, the far kind of eastern part of Victoria. Our tour group you can see down below there, as well as we've just been kind of enjoying sort of a chill morning so far here on what is expected to be our last day here in Victoria before we do head back stateside towards Seattle tomorrow. So kind of getting closer to wrapping up our tours. You can kind of sort of see some of the mountains in the background there. Not really, unfortunately, some clouds kind of shrouding it. We would typically be able to see over toward the Seattle area, but I can't at this time, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll have better visibility on that later on this afternoon. But coming to you from Victoria, Canada, as we're getting close to wrapping up our trip here, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpalm from Mississippi Live Weather.
See, not only are we jealous of Matt because he gets to wear a sweater right now, but we're also jealous because he has food. I mean, guys, it's dinner time. My stomach's rumbling, so I'm going to try and get you guys done quickly. But before you leave, I want to let you know the forecast because I know my wife is bringing food here shortly, and I know she'll have that air cranked as well, with temperatures being around 97 degrees there in Choctaw County. Heat indices around a 130. Now, that is not actual heat indices in the air. And this is something I was hinting at just a moment ago, how if you have these sensors that are over asphalt or something that absorbs the heat, then it's going to make it seem way hotter than what it is because it is over the top of that surface. But where it's over grass or something that's less absorbent of that heat, then it's going to be anywhere from 105 to 110. That's really what we saw across the region, with some areas getting as high as 112 to 113. Same thing as we take a look at temperatures over in altitude. This was showing 70 degrees indoors. I like your thinking over there in altitude, but 101 outside, 102 outside, that was real field values. Those temperatures not too affected when it comes to those surfaces, but they are still, I mean, they'll be stretched a degree or two with those pavements that are a bit more on the hotter side. But this is what we're watching, is this upper level high that's aiding in those hot temperatures, bringing in that the air from Texas and Oklahoma that's just a little bit more dry and hot. That's what's cycling into North Mississippi as of this point. You can see it's encompassing all of Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, as far north as northern Illinois. That's insane, with heat advisories. So we're not alone in this. This heat dome definitely something that the entire central United States is seeing. But what we're watching out towards the east is this moisture that's going to be on the east side of the high pressure. That's hence why we're not getting it, because it's cycling it back towards the Gulf. But you also have this interaction of a low that's out in the Atlantic that we'll see here in just a moment. That low is cycling in the batch of moisture there towards southern Georgia, southern South Carolina, and even portions of Alabama. So there's your dome that's happening right on the outskirts. You see that boundary right there with high pressure. I mean, that, should I say, clockwise circulation happening around it. So it's cycling in that drier air to North Mississippi, but Alabama getting the favor in this setup with the low pressure system really dominating out there. So that's where a lot of the showers are expected to take place. That's why our chances are not high for our Tuesday evening for any chances of moisture. But moving into Wednesday, that heat dome builds right over the top of us with that high pressure just remaining constant over the top. So those heat advisories and heat warnings extending as far south as St. Louis, or should I say as far north as St. Louis, and extending as far north as Wisconsin is those heat advisories. So that dome still dominating our forecast. Here's where things could possibly get better and what we're watching for Wednesday and Thursday. So you see the moisture on the south end of the high pressure and the near the low pressure aids in showers and storms to develop because low pressure has counterclockwise rotation, or should I say this way, and high pressure has clockwise rotation. So it's wrapping in that drier air, but since it's moving further towards the north, a little bit away from us, then it's going to be carrying in more of that drier air up towards Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Down here, especially if this low moves just a bit more to the east, west, that's what we're watching for. But if it's positioned right there, cycling in some of that Atlantic moisture and even some of the Gulf moisture up towards North Mississippi, and we could see some isolated showers at least try to be produced for our Wednesday afternoon. That's why chances are higher than what they were for Tuesday and even towards Thursday. If this continues to trend west, and we expect it to do that, it'll be bringing that Gulf moisture just a bit more. So I expect more showers to be produced by Thursday and possibly even Friday, depending on how long that sits out in the Gulf. Well, let's go ahead and walk through that atmospheric setup. This is way high up in the atmosphere measurement that we call 300 millibars. To give you reference, at the surface, we're anywhere from like 980 to 1,000 millibars. So this is way, way high up. You can see that high pressure center dominating our forecast. And so that drier air with hotter temperatures just right over the top of North Mississippi. This is Tuesday. You can see at the bottom left of your screen. Let's go ahead and walk into Wednesday, and you see that high pressure center just transitions a little bit more north and east. You can see that clockwise rotation right there. So high pressure builds into the eastern United States, so helping cycle in a little bit of that moisture here towards North Mississippi. As that carries more out towards the east, you can see By the time we get to Thursday, that high pressure is sitting out there in the Atlantic, carrying a lot of those hot temperatures with it, and we'll be seeing some slightly cooler temperatures cycle into North Mississippi. Not accounting for the rain-cooled air because that low is still out in the Gulf, cycling in that Gulf moisture. So where you have that moisture, could see some isolated showers, and we know what rain-cooled air does. We saw it last Saturday, and it was a blessing in disguise, especially experiencing what we are right now. So as that high pressure shifts more out towards the northeast, we'll be seeing a much better pattern moving forward with our extended forecast. So those hot temperatures, not forever, but they will be forever tonight, as we see temperatures still in the 90s by 7, mid 80s by 10, and low 80s closer to 1 a.m. So still have the fluids ready, drink plenty of water, 3 bottles. 4 bottles. Let's go 5 bottles of water as we go about the day, and just stay in air conditioning as long as you can. Take frequent breaks. And of course, we'll keep you updated here at Mississippi Live Weather for the latest on that forecast. We just want you guys to stay safe and also stay informed of when that better weather will move in the forecast. Again, we don't have to, we won't be under heat advisories and warnings forever, but even as we head into the weekend and temperatures are the low 90s, we still need to stay hydrated. It's summer, it's July in Mississippi. We need to make sure to do all the precautions. Speaking of, we'll be live tonight at 10, walking through the latest on this forecast and adjusting those rainfall totals, or should I say rainfall chances, as we head through the latter part of our work week. Hopefully they'll be trending up, and it seems like they are. So as long as that atmosphere abides, then we'll be seeing a much better situation. We'll see you here tonight at 10 for the very latest, and I hope you guys have a great evening.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy